Hello, everyone, and good evening. Welcome to Adam's TV Podcast. I am your host, Adam Samuel, and today's a big day. It is the day that we are going to be starting our coverage of the newest season of American Idol, season 17, season 2. It's kind of a mix in between. No one really knows which one it is for sure, but but my co-host Eric has some thoughts. Eric, how you doing today, Eric?
I'm good at season 17. If you call it season 2 one more time, I'm quitting this podcast.
Fair enough. Yes. Eric, yeah, I agree. It's season 17, and anything else is kind of it is kind of fun to kind of go along with like the ABC machine. But in my heart, this will always be season 17. So we have a premiere of American Idol to recap. This was where we began our podcast last year. We have come full circle. I mentioned this in our previous podcast, but this feels like a homecoming for Adam's TV Podcast. I'm so happy and excited to be podcasting about the show again. Before we can get any further, I want to give a shout out, as I usually do at the top of our shows. We are on iTunes, we are on Spotify, we are on every music downloading platform you could think of. And if you can't find us on that platform, let us know. Eric puts a lot of time and effort into putting those together. He does a really great job editing them. So once again, Eric, thanks so much for helping out with that process.
No problem. This episode should be up. If you're listening to it on the audio version, it'll be March 6th. And if you're listening to it now, you're listening to it now.
I also have some exciting news that we shared on Twitter that I'm going to be sharing again today on the podcast. But for the second week of American Idol, which does not include the episode that's going to be airing on Wednesday, but for next week's episode, we are going to be doing a podcast with a special guest. We have been in touch, and I'm so excited because we are going to be having Skylar Dixon, who is a contestant I remember really rooting for during seasons 11 and a little bit of 12. That she is a very talented girl. She's been through this Idol experience. She has a lot of wisdom about the goings on behind the show. And I just want to say, like, I'm very excited to have her joining us. She's not going to be just joining us for a recap of the episode, but she's also going to be doing an interview. So we're going to talk to her. There's a lot I want to catch up with her on what she's been up to. And I'm really excited. She is, I can't speak highly enough of her, and I'm so excited for her to be coming on the podcast. Other than that, Eric, shall we start to get into the premiere a little bit?
Let's start talking.
All right. So, Eric, it was a 2-hour premiere. We saw, I think it was 12 auditions. Yes, 12 auditioners. And I just want to kick this thing off asking you general impressions. What did you think about the show?
A lot I liked. A lot. I mean, a lot of the format and some things I liked a lot. I liked that there was only one joke contestant. I liked that.
It was amazing.
We'll get to that. I liked that they showed clips of Katie Turner and Maddie, and they talked about people from season 16. But my issue is, I have two problems with format. First of all, there was a montage of rejects. We didn't even get to hear them sing, which why include that at all? But more importantly, there was not a single contestant that genuinely blew me away, or even got me excited about the season. Now, to be fair, last season that was the same case. I wasn't excited about Katie from her first audition, and I got excited about her as time went on. So I'm hopeful that someone will grow on me.
I'm going to disagree. I actually found myself thoroughly entertained by this premiere. It kind of we've always talked about on the podcast about we'd prefer less of the kind of jokier auditioners and more of the seriousness. And we kind of got that. We only, of these 12 contestants, we only spent time. Well, only one of them was kind of like the joke kind of contestant. Everyone else was kind of legitimate singers. And I just want to say, like, I appreciate that we're not focusing that much on that. I like that American Idol is kind of going in a more serious direction. But I guess that's just kind of my opinion. Like I said, I thoroughly enjoyed the episode. I have one or two contestants from this batch that I really enjoyed watching, but I guess we both don't agree on it. But
no, I agree that I was happy with only one joke contestant, and I was happy that there were a couple contestants with potential, but no one genuinely blew me away. So we're not as much in disagreement as you think we are.
All right. Well, I just there's one or two contestants here that I think is really special, and we'll get to them all in a minute. But before we do, I want to get to some of the more broader questions about the episode, which is we have the return of the same panel from last year. It is Lionel Richie, Katy Perry, and Luke Bryan returning as our judges. Eric, how do you think they did for the premiere? Do you think they did a good job? What are your thoughts on the panel?
Still not a fan of the panel. Lionel at least they didn't have Lionel talking over the two good musical moments of the night. So I guess that's a step in the right direction. We'll see how long it lasts. Yeah, honestly, the third audition of the night, when we get to her, I'll have more thoughts on the panel, because that's the deciding factor for me about why I don't like this panel.
Okay. That's fair. Do you have any judge that you somewhat enjoy? Is there one of them that you think is all right?
Katy Perry makes me laugh occasionally, but that's the extent of it.
I feel like Katy Perry is almost like a character. Like she's trying to be this like crazy person, and I'm okay with it. As a whole, like I said, I've said this in the past. I say this often when we do these podcasts. For me, the panel isn't the reason I watch the show. It's for the contestants. But all the judges need to do is not take attention away from the contestants, and they can have their shtick a little bit in the auditions, and hopefully when we get to the live shows, they can kind of dial it back a little bit.
As long as they don't have Lionel talking over the contestants again this season, I'll be happy. That's the only thing I care about, is that we don't have them judges blabbering over the contestants singing. Before and after they perform, do as much shtick as you want. When they're performing, it should be about the contestants.
Yes. And on that note, let's start to get into these contestants. So the show kind of starts with this. We get the intro montage where all the contestants are talking about their dreams. Like this is their shot, and I enjoy the intros. They're okay. I mean, it is what it is, and it kind of leads us into our first contestant of the season. It is 20-year-old Walker Burrows from Birmingham, Alabama. And I think always on past seasons of American Idol, the first auditioner usually is someone who's going to go a little far. And for me, Walker Burrows, he is a redhead. He plays piano. He has Harry Potter glasses. He performs Love Like This by Ben Richter. And I thought it was okay, in my opinion. What did you think about it, Eric?
He's funny and likable. He doesn't really have a phenomenal voice, but I think it's still pretty great. He's one of my favorites of the night. I like that he played piano, and I think he has the potential to go really far. My favorite part actually was when he said "Good Heavens," which is a phrase I've never heard before from anybody.
It's like an older person, I know, a tie going "Good Heavens."
Funny to hear him say that. My problem was then he started singing "Hello." And if they cut him off if the competition ended right before he started saying hello, my opinion of it would have been a lot higher. Because the problem when you sing hello, and you do it in a very sticky way with Lionel Richie, is that you remind me of just how much better David Cook was than anyone on this show this season. And and then Katie said gingers are going extinct, and she couldn't tell he was a ginger from far away. Is she distantly colorblind? I don't know.
I don't know. I forgot to mention this at the front of the show, but I actually assigned letter grades to each performance that kind of comes through the night. So I'm going to kind of touch on that towards the end. But for me, he seems very like a genuine person. Like he is not. I like that he has no sob story. Like he is just a genuine person, which always is a positive. For me, like I said, nice guy. I feel like he is someone who might get a little overwhelmed in the later rounds. I feel like right now when it's him in just a room playing piano and it's just like a couple of people, it's much different than playing to like a stadium with so many people. Like here, there's a little bit like almost an intimate quality. And compared to something bigger, I feel like he is someone who I'm a little worried could maybe get a little lost in the experience and maybe have it swallow him. This is something I worry about, but I don't know if this is going to apply to him long term, but this is a point I wanted to mention. I feel like on American Idol, there's some contestants who are playing to compete, and then there are contestants who are playing to survive. who are just trying to make it through that next round. I'm worried he might be one of those contestants that's kind of just try to get through the week, just try to survive. Another thing also, I think he's going to struggle with up-tempo songs. Like, I think his voice is good, but it's a little thin. Do you agree, Eric?
I agree. But I don't think any of them have particularly strong voices, with one exception. A lot of them we're going to have to pick songs that match their voices. So,
like I said, I would love to be proven wrong. I think Walker is a cool guy.
Wrong as well.
I think he's someone.
I basically felt the same way about Katie last year that I feel about Walker right now. And Katie ended up being my favorite contestant last season.
I just think he's gonna have a little bit of an issue standing out because he is one of the more, like, if you put him, this is gonna be a out of the box kind of a comparison, but like put him and Uche, I think that's how you pronounce his name, Uche, I think. If you put them together, like, one just stands out and exudes more like bravado or whatever. Like he like Walker is kind of a little bit more reserved, which is fine. But when you're on American Idol and you're competing, you kind of need a little bit of pushing out. Do you kind of understand?
I strongly disagree with that. We've had plenty of introverted idols.
I mean, I agree. Maddie does it. Maddie's is a little bit more like Walker. So
maybe I
was
thinking of like Chris, Lee.
Yeah, there are a lot. I guess this was a bad example then. I don't know, but I'm rooting for him. I gave his performance a B+.
I'd give it a B+ as well.
Yeah,
B+, somewhere in that range.
Otherwise, I don't have many more notes about him. Like I said, he's the first auditioners. You always got to keep an eye on them because, I mean, Clark Beckham was the first auditioner.
He was?
Yeah, and he is the only one I can remember who was the first auditioner, but I'm sure
Katie was last year, wasn't she?
Katie Turner?
Yeah. She was, wasn't she?
I don't.
She was the first episode. I know that much.
I don't know if she was the first audition.
While you're injured for the next person, I'm going to Google that because I'm really curious.
Anyway, next up we have Johanna Jones. She is 23 years old, and after watching her audition tape, I just think they did this really weird segment where they kind of focused on her eating potato chips ahead of her audition. And I know Eric is kind of busy with his with Googling, but I'm not
Googling and I was right.
You were right?
Yeah.
Wow. Well, there you go. Another example. Katie Turner, another one who goes, yeah, so keep an eye on them.
Comparisons make sense.
All right. So anyway, back to Johanna. She has this whole segment where she talks about eating potato chips, and I am absolutely not a singer. But Eric, do you know, does this have any scientific backing of eating potato chips before performing?
I don't know, but it's clearly time for product placement hour because In-N-Out Burger did product placement, Lay's did product placement, the state of Idaho did product placement.
Johanna did product placement.
No, I'm saying she did product placement for all three of those things. So I'm going to do product placement now. I'm going to say AirPods are wonderful.
AirPods are wonderful, but anyway.
Product placement over. There's my product placement for the episode. I'll pick something different.
All right. So like I said, Johanna, she's 23 years old. She is a very beautiful girl. She has very, very striking blue eyes. She's got a good vibe going for her. They didn't mention this in the show. She's actually a returning contestant. She was on season 15. Don't quote me tell me if I'm wrong, Eric. Was she featured at all? I know she was.
I don't remember at all.
Well, I read that she was a returning contestant, but they didn't mention it. She performs. Oh, what song did she perform? I didn't write it down. She performs "I'm Not the Only One" by Sam Smith, that's a song I really enjoy. Are you a big fan of Sam Smith, Eric?
Not really as a person, but as a singer, yes. Yes.
So for her performance, I wrote pretty solid, very solid. She doesn't kind of her voice is good, but it's kind of typical. Like it's kind of
very generic.
Very generic. She seems like a very lovely girl. Like she seems
lovely.
like very cool. I love the little segment with In-N-Out when she talked about. I think she's a fry cook. I think is what she said, or she works as a cook, right?
But who they paid a lot of money for this segment. I will say it's not a winning voice. I think it was worthy of getting for this round, but I think the judges were almost irresponsible saying like quit your job because she's not good enough to quit her job.
I don't know about that. She's definitely got a talent. I would definitely give her a pass through. This is something that someone else pointed out, not me, but I was reading this on one of the forums that she kind of doesn't have much of her own identity. Like someone pointed this out and I really agree with them, where she's kind of building off what other singers kind of do. And I'm not getting much Johanna out of it. Like I'm hearing a good performance, but where is she in the song? Where is the identity that she's kind of crafting right now? She needs to kind of do that if she wants to move forward, because honestly, right now, I think she would, if she makes it to the live shows, I think she might be in trouble very soon.
Yep.
Other than that, one random note where she's talking to the judges. She does her little bit with the potato chips, and then all of a sudden she goes, "Oh, and Alan is gonna play guitar for me." This guy just walks in and starts playing. Who is that guy? Who is Alan, Eric?
I don't know. Never do you. I never with anybody.
This audition just left me with more questions. But
my biggest question is was it Katy Perry that put the whole bag in her mouth?
What was that? They should have done some editing magic where they pretended like she swallowed.
So I was watching this episode with my cousin, and he was looking at me and was like, "Okay, I can't watch this anymore." I'm like, "Yeah, I don't blame you. This is gross. This is really gross."
All right. Well, anyway, I gave my Johanna's performance. Also, I gave it a B+.
I give it a B.
I thought it was. I liked it a little bit more. But I'm wondering, does she play an instrument? Like, if she plays an instrument, I want to see.
Clearly not, because where else was that guy? What's his name again?
Alan. Just Alan.
Alan wouldn't be there if she played an instrument, would he?
It's like with Deadpool, where he starts assembling his team and it's all normal people and it's all superheroes, and then there's just one normal guy. Like that's kind of, it's like it's like one of these things is not like the other. But otherwise, I love Johanna. Great performance. Let's keep it going to her name is Khalifa, I think is her name. Am I correct? She goes by Kai the singer, but her full name I think is Khalifa, but she says she's not going to go by that name because it's already taken, which I think is a good decision. Do you think so, Eric?
Well, we'll get to her, because my thing is that I don't think the decision really matters of what she goes by.
All right. Well, she is 16 years old. She's from Kingstree, South Carolina. She has this whole story. She is our first kind of big story contestant of the night. She talks about how her family was homeless for a time, and she kind of talks about that whole experience, not having furniture. She lives with her siblings, and they had to sleep on an air mattress. And it kind of leads into her performance of Thinking Out Loud by Ed Sheeran, which is a personal favorite song of mine. And she plays the performance on guitar, and I was listening to her play, and it was just I don't know what was going on. They were just not in sync with her guitar and the vocals. It was kind of all over the place. What did you kind of think of the first performance of hers, Eric?
Honestly, I think both performances I can put in the same category. It was a bit of a mess. Honestly, she's likable. She's very likable. Has a good story, but decent voice. But so many problems with the emotions getting the best of her, not knowing who she is, or I'm sure. And her voice kind of bugged me a bit, personally. I don't know why, but it did. And I couldn't point out. I couldn't explain why it bugged me so much, but it did. And I don't know why that is.
I think we take for granted a little bit on when we watch these auditions, like how hard it is to play an instrument and sing.
Oh, I could never do it. I'm not saying that I can do it. I can sit here at home and say that this person wasn't great, but I know I couldn't do it.
I've been learning piano for over a year, and for me, I can't sing for the life of me. But when I play, like when I try to think of the words, even just thinking, like my fingers like freeze. Like I totally like empathize. I can't even speak. Empathize with her, because I understand like how it looks so easy because so many people have done it in the past, how difficult it is just straight up. But it was still like a little bit rough. But she ends up going and she plays a performance on the piano My Girl by The Temptations. She kind of switches the lyrics up, so it's about she sings instead of girl, it's about music. And it's better, but I think this girl is going to get very swallowed up during Hollywood Week. Eric, do you agree?
I think she should have been cut. I do. I don't think she should have made it past this round. And the fact that all of the judges let her pass the round, that's all I need to know about the panel. I don't think they're harsh enough. I think that they're too nice. Just like season 10 and 11's panel was too nice.
The thing is, I'm gonna say, if I was a judge, how can you say no to that? Like,
if I'm being paid to be a judge, I know that this girl is not going to make live shows. She's not ready. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the nice thing and not leave her on for a while.
I actually put up a poll during the episode that I shared on Twitter, and it got, I think it got like a lot of, I think it was like 30 maybe 30 votes, and 36% of the vote said they would send her through. 64 said they would not, which I don't know if I would really necessarily have the heart to do it, but yeah, she's gonna get destroyed in Hollywood Week, and the poor girl.
Yeah, it's not fair. That's what I'm saying. Oh, cutting her now is like it's bad. This is the worst analogy I'm ever gonna make. It's like when you put a dog down. It's like the kindest thing to do. Worst analogy I've ever made. I'm sorry.
Anyway, before we go on, I want to give a shout out to the chat. We have Azad commenting. He said, "What's up? I was just in America's Got Talent taping. Pretty cool. There were some
spoilers.
There were some spoilers on Reddit that I saw really quickly. He also said that he met a person who won Idol, and I think his name was Scotty McCreery. I don't remember. Help me out. Yeah, that was the season 10 winner. If you met him, you should have asked him to come join us on the podcast. Azad. Great. Anyway, thanks so much always for commenting, by the way. Let's keep it going to our fourth. I forgot to mention for Kai the singer, gave her a C. Is that
C minus, D plus.
I'm not as harsh as you, Eric. I don't.
I know you're not, and that's fine. But I'd say C minus for me.
I don't have the heart for that, but let's move on to Tyler Mitchell. He is 26 years old, the oldest auditioner, I think, of the episode. He is from Florine, LA, Los Angeles, and it's kind of getting weird for me, Eric, because as a kid, I would watch the show, and I'm almost getting to the age where I will not be able to audition. And kind of for a moment, like when the guy came in and he said his name, I was thinking, that's not that far off from me. And then I have one of those like, oh my God. But anyway, this dude, Tyler, he is a giant. He looks like this big.
Katy Perry made me laugh so hard when she asked if his mom is dead from having 4 kids.
Yeah, I watched that.
Better his size. And then asked, what do you do for fun? Besides arm wrestle, of course.
The thing was, I don't know if I'm remembering this correctly, but he like gave a look, like when she said that, like an uncomfortable look, like I don't know, maybe I'm just remembering poorly, and it's signs of early stages of me losing it.
From dead dog to dead moms.
That's the title of our podcast. But all right. For me, he walks into the room. He's this very big guy. He's very, very soft-spoken. He seems like a very like calm, down-to-earth. Thing is, a little dry, Eric. Am I correct? He reminded me a little bit of Caleb from last season without the sass and the jokes a little bit. Do you think that's a fair comparison?
I think he's got a great voice, actually. Not the type of thing I would go out of my way to listen to. But I can tell he's got talent, and he seems nice enough.
He's definitely talented, but for me, I was watching his performance, which was Whenever You Come Around by Vince Gill, and it was sang fine, but he kind of sang it with this kind of like just
totally
stone face.
But yeah, I agreed. I mean, again, not any universal type of thing I go out of my way to listen to, but he is undeniably talented.
It was just difficult to connect. Like I'm looking for the emoting. Like it was just kind of sat there, and it didn't kind of. It was saying well, but it just didn't. do anything for me. Like of these contestants, he's someone I'll be honest, I probably would have forgotten of this batch. Like he sang well, but he didn't make a lasting impression on me, which I think if he makes it to the live shows is going to be a big struggle for him. I think that is something that you need, but I don't really know what to really make of it. What do you think, Eric?
As I said, not the type of thing I could listen to, but he's got talent. Seems nice enough. Probably doesn't have much of a chance though.
He barely even seemed that excited to be like going through. Like he was just like, yeah. And I was like, that's it?
Yeah, that's it.
All right. But like I said, solid voice, needs to emote a little bit more. I gave this performance a B.
I'd give it, well, considering I don't like country, I'd give it a C. But considering that he has, if I'm trying to judge objectively, I'd give it a B minus, B plus. No, B.
All right, and now let's move on to my favorite audition of the night, Eric.
Oh God, that's not good. Fine.
It is. I love these auditioners. I'll be honest. Like, if they're gonna be like wacky and crazy, like at least make it entertaining. And vocals, I think vocals. I don't even know how to pronounce his name. Vocals. He comes out and he says that he is a mystic death creature, and from those words, I was hooked. I was fully invested in this performance. He is a screamo performer. Is that the term for this kind of genre, Eric?
I don't know, because here's the thing. It's totally a coincidence that 2 minutes into the introduction package, I turned off the episode and went to bed. That's my story. I'm sticking to it. It is, however, not a coincidence that I did not go back and watch him after.
Eric, he described himself as a mystic death creature. Imagine if I introduced myself. It's like
hello,
who does that?
Mystic Death Creature. Welcome to Mystic Death Creature's TV podcast.
He performs. I think it was an original, if I'm correct. I'll be honest. I love this audition. I love this. So the thing is, he ends up getting a no. The judges end up turning him down from Hollywood. And I'll be honest, I would have 100% said yes to this auditioner. Because just hear me out, Eric. Hear me out. Can you imagine him group round performing Hit 'Em Up Style by Blue Contrelli?
No, I can't.
I would have loved to see that. I
can think of I can think of anyone else who would want to see that, but
it's just me. But like I said, he actually ends up coming into his audition with a bag, and it has like a necklace inside, and they kind of make a big point of it and then just never mention it again. And during his performance, I love the judges kind of like crouch behind the table, like cowering in fear. I love this audition. I gave it an A+, Eric.
Okay. I gave it an NA because I wasn't there to watch it. I didn't show up.
All right. Do you have any final notes for the mystic death creature of season 17 of American Idol? No? All right. Anyway, he would have been great in Hollywood Week is all I can say. Anyway, we move on to Margie Mays.
Solomon.
To who?
Stacey Solomon.
I don't know who that is.
Look it up on YouTube and you'll tell me watch the comparison after the fact. After this episode ends, you're gonna watch Stacey Solomon and audition, and you're gonna see they're identical. They're secret twins. So both of them are super annoying when they talk, like super hyperactive, like talk really fast, annoying as hell. And both of them have pretty good voices.
Yes, Margie Mays, 25 years old, Wilmington, Delaware, I think is where she's from. Can you imagine her in a group round with the screaming guy?
Here's what I'd say: if I could pin her feet to the floor, like weld her feet to the floor, I'd vote yes.
Wow, I gotta tell you, this was probably my second favorite audition of the night, where it's just this girl has very high energy, and I don't know if it's just editing magic or it's just maybe they like gave her some coffee or something before the show that like just really hyped her up, but she was just bouncing off the walls, which is like it's like the auditioner's dream, like the producer's dreams. Like they love these kinds of contestants, and she kind of gave them what they were hoping for. And like I said, I feel like there are two kinds of being nervous on American Idol. There's Kai the singer nervous, and Margie May is kind of nervous. Like they're the dichotomies of the American Idol auditioners. But what did you think about her performance of, I think it was Shot by Lawrence?
Again, decent voice, and if she wasn't moving around like a nervous person, I vote yes.
Yeah, I got to tell you, like when she got down to her singing, it was pretty solid. It kind of gave me Broadway vibes a little bit. I don't know about you. Like it kind of felt like very.
Again, you need to watch Stacey Sullivan because it's identical. Same thing.
Eric, what was the thing she was doing where she made a box over her head? I'm so confused. But I really enjoyed her. She right before she starts singing, she mentions that she's never been more parched in her life, and all I could think about was Johanna Jones like throwing a potato chip at her, like a bag of her, like for her to
more parched.
Apparently, it works for Johanna. I guess kind of.
No,
I don't know. I think Margie is gonna be fun to watch in Hollywood Week. I think she's going to, or maybe not. Maybe this was kind of just a thing for the auditions, but. I enjoyed her. I liked her energy. I think she's a little too nuts. I have no idea what that like weird purring or cooing sound that she made was, or what was really going on. They edited this. I'm hoping this was all just editing magic. Is all I can really say.
Well, she had to make the noises, or else it wasn't editing magic.
Maybe they asked her like, "Hey, can you make an owl sound?"
God.
I was just watching this. Like, is she a real person? Like she doesn't.
Is this real life?
It's just real life. It's like David after the dentist.
Yes, I know.
Lionel though says no.
Okay.
But
Hopefully, notice some people.
Margie May is definitely someone I have my eye on this season. But I gave her performance a B. Am I far off from your ranking, Eric?
Nope. I'd give it about a B minus.
Yep. Otherwise, I liked her. I enjoyed her. All I can really say, she provided some entertainment during this episode, and for that, always thankful.
Okay.
All right. Well, let's keep it going. Where we get a montage of bad singers, Eric. We get a bunch of contestants kind of coming, and Lionel being absolutely. There was a contestant on Britain's Got Talent. It was like a little boy, and he said like all his lines were like just ended with the punchline of savage. And Lionel Richie says that you should sing songs with you should find notes that you can hit. And I imagine that kid going savage.
That wasn't all his punchlines. I remember that kid. Ned Woodman, I think his name was. He was 7.
That was just a thought that kind of popped into my head. Like Lionel, can you imagine find notes that you could hit?
Wow, that's like a backhanded insult. So, my favorite Adam Levine clip of all time was "You're a candidate for being able to pull that song off." I remember Melinda, Adam, and Michael Slezak were going ape shit over that clip, and that was an amazing clip.
It's the passive aggressiveness. It's as passive aggressive as the panel's going to get.
It's a backhanded way of saying you didn't do it well. Find notes you can hit. So that's like a constructive criticism. That's like just really criticism with,
All right. Anyway, let's keep it going with Myra Tran. She is 19 years old. She's actually from Vietnam. And she performs.
Not the Philippines.
What?
Not the Philippines.
Nope. She performs One Night Only from Dreamgirls. She has a story where she moved to the U.S. I believe it was actually like a year ago. Am I correct? Yeah. And how are you allowed to audition so quickly? Like, what are the rules of auditioning and then being allowed to be on a show like this?
I know on X Factor you don't have to live there at all. So,
but what did you think about Myra?
Got Talent, or basically an Amber show. So I don't know. What I think I've already said.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought she had the best voice of the episode by a mile. Having said that, she is super generic as hell. But if we're judging it based on pure vocal ability, she's in a league of her own.
I wrote down in my notes that she reminded me of Mara from last season of Idol, where she's got this big voice, but she's kind of using it for outdated older songs, and she's not kind of painting herself in a more contemporary and more current artist. The song I'm worried that they're going to maybe, the producers or whoever is going to maybe pigeonhole her into the Whitney songs, the Mariah, the kind of old school songs that are not at all really current and don't really make her much of a viable winner. Do you think that's, I'm far off, Eric?
I tend to agree with that, but Dalton didn't do much contemporary on X Factor, and he was
Dalton's
amazing.
the exception, I feel, though. Like, Dalton is just in such a league of his own.
Her is that she doesn't have enough. She's pretty generic, is the thing. She's amazing, but she's generic. And it's tough. I don't think she's going to go very far. I mean, I think if she makes live shows, she's not going to make it very far. She's going to get PIA'd.
Maybe. We should also mention she was actually on. This is not her first time on a reality
show. She was on
show.
X Factor Vietnam, right?
And she won X Factor Vietnam, which
I can see it.
Why did they do this? Like, why? Like, she should have been saved for the X Factor's Champions season. Like,
they're not doing that. I mean,
not?
Simon thinks he's gonna do it, but no one's coming back to Simon. So,
like, I don't know, but like I said, for me, this was a very solid performance. I would like more contemporary songs, more modern songs. I don't want her to fall into the throwback kind of genre. Like, American Idol loves to kind of put its contestants into little boxes. Like, it has the soul singer, the rock singer, the country singer, and I feel like the other country singer who's going to leave first.
The other country singer. For some of the 4 or 5 of them.
Usually. But I'm just worried she's going to fit into, like, with Mara, what they did, where they just kept giving her these, like, prom queen diva ballads or kind of things, which I don't want her to do that, because she is really good. And she, excluding my exaggerated A+ for vocals, I gave Myra Chen an A- for her performance, which is, I believe, the highest grade I gave of the episode. An
A, honestly. Vocals were amazing.
I took those points off because, like I said, I don't.
She only gave one performance so far. If the next performance is also problematic, and it's an old song that it's not relevant, then we can start talking over it. But her first audition, she wanted to show off her voice, so she picked a song that showed off her voice.
There are contemporary songs that can do that.
There are.
I don't know, but do you have any final thoughts on her before we keep this going?
Not particularly. And hoping we'll be able to talk about her some more as season goes on.
Well, she made it to Hollywood Week, so we'll be talking about her again at least one more time. Let's talk about Yuchi. Is that his name? Yuchi? How do you pronounce this name, Eric?
I don't know, but I'm torn on him.
All right. Well, first off, in his intro package, he kind of gets this whole. He has a really long name, and he explains that his mother just stuck a Walter inside the name, like that I think he says he could use it for college or jobs, I think, and I love that. Like, that's brilliant.
Oh, he's extremely likable, and that's a great thing. That's funny. It's like when I say my name is spelled the way it's spelled because my ancestors wanted to be dicks. They wanted everyone to spell my name wrong.
Well, all right.
He is there just to annoy people.
All right. Well, let's get back to Yuchi. He has this whole story growing up in the churches. I love this one aspect of his when he comes out onto the stage. I guess it's the stage. It's kind of just a platform. He says that he's going to be performing "Ain't No Other Man" by Christina Aguilera, and he does this thing which really stood out to me, where he says that everyone else was going to do something different, something kind of their own, and I'm going to do something different. And I mentioned this on Twitter, but that is exactly the words I want to hear from these contestants.
Exactly.
Like, when he said that, I was like, bam, you said the right thing. You have my attention, because I love that. I love a contestant that is unpredictable, that is going to do something different. Like, if everyone's going to be the country singer,
going to try to stand out. Yes, exactly. I like that he wanted to show a more up-tempo, personable side to himself. I will say he needs to cut back on the dancing and work on vocals a bit, but I think he has a ton of potential.
Yes, a lot of people were ranking him really low on their rankings of these episodes that I was watching. Which I will say his performance, the Christina Aguilera song, not my favorite. It was a little bit too high energy, but like I said, I can appreciate that he is someone who's going to come in and say everyone's going to do this, so I'm going to do that, and that is something that gets me excited about him. His vocals do need a little bit of work. He ends up doing a second song, God is Able, which I got to tell you, the last time I ever heard this song was Curtis Finch Jr. on American Idol.
Oh God, that explains it all.
And that just brought me right back there. And I was like, whoop, let's get back. Like we turn this way, that we go.
Oh, no wonder I hate this song. Okay.
But like I said, I think he is a contestant who is going to put on a show. He is.
I hope so.
He is someone who I am excited about having on the season. Like I said, he needs to work on his vocals a little bit, but he is fun to watch. He has a good message behind him. I'm excited about him. He is one of my favorites of the season, even though I will say this performance, not the best, but
agreed.
Just for what he's going to bring to the table, he gets my seal of approval. And I gave this performance a B.
I'd give it a B-, but I know he has potential to deliver an A. So,
yeah, like imagine a season where it's all country singers, which we've had in the past almost a little bit. Like we need the what's the word, the difference.
We need the music that I listen to. What it is.
All right. Well, let's keep going with Lacey K. Booth. She is 23 years old. She is from Livingston, Texas. She's performing Mama Tried by Merle Haggard, and she has this whole intro package where her parents got pregnant with her when they were 15 and 17. 15? What? That's crazy. But she has this whole story where she was kind of not in touch with her father, and then kind of through music kind of bonded with him, and they started performing together, and he was actually there at her auditions. He was very like supportive. He's like waiting outside the booth for her, talking to Ryan Seacrest. What do you make of Lacey K, Eric?
Interesting backstory to say the least. She's definitely got a unique voice. Getting ready for my hate mail. It's honestly not what I love. I can sort of see why people like her, but very much not my thing at all.
I'm going to disagree a little bit.
I know you were.
She's not my favorite singer I've ever heard, but some people were drawing this comparison, which I do kind of want to mention. It's between Lacey and Johanna. I feel like Lacey is a singer who kind of has her own identity. She knows like the singer she is. And the problem is that maybe she's not the most like outgoing, like kind of her song choices are kind of more, it's more, some singers, they project outward, some singers project inward. Lacey kind of projects inward, but she knows her identity. Johanna kind of projects outward, but doesn't kind of have her own like niche identity that she just hasn't finished forming yet. And for me, I would maybe give the edge to Lacey of the two of them, because I think that she does bring something different to the table. What do you agree, Eric?
No, I don't honestly. I like Johanna's voice better. It's more generic, but Lacey has a unique voice, but I'm not sure it's in a good way for me. I'm sorry.
I gotta tell you, I think she's very marketable. She's like a perfect package. She is very ready to like be. I can't speak highly enough of her.
Reminds me a lot of Maddie, and that's why I know you'd like her.
A little bit, I will say, a little bit. She just has this. There's a rare breed of American Idol contestants where they have the quiet confidence. It's like with Jax, it was like the Confident. Remember? Do you remember that? Or am I reaching too far, Eric?
No.
You remember with Jax, she was called Confident. I'm just trying to say that some of these contestants, they have the shy confidence, and I get that vibe with Lacey, and I think if she makes it to the live show, she's going to go far. I really, really have high hopes for this girl. I really think she's good.
I don't, but I didn't think Maddie was either. So
If I would have any notes for her, I would like a little bit more emoting, just a little bit more, because she did at parts kind of have like stone face, like Tyler Mitchell face, like just kind of that. But otherwise, dude, I think she's set. I think she's really good, and I'm excited for her.
I knew you would be. So, no surprises here, but okay.
All right. Any final thoughts? Or
we skip through. We go quickly through the next two fodder contestants, please.
All right. Well, Nick Rogers is 17 years old, and I got to tell you, he comes into the audition, and when he performs, he kind of starts singing softly, and then he starts breaking into rap. But I don't know if this was just me, but there's music playing as he's kind of singing, but it doesn't sound like it's coming from the room. It sounds like almost as if it was dubbed in afterwards. Like he was just kind of singing, and the producers maybe threw something in like over it in post-production. Did you get that vibe, Eric, or
not really? I wasn't paying much attention. As the second he started lying to Lionel, I stopped paying attention.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, final thoughts. Lacey Booth, I gave a B+. Anyway, back to Nick. I feel like there is a reason we were shown his audition here, and it was for the last couple of seconds where he has this kind of shtick with Lionel Richie, where he says he pretends to know who he is and then totally like lies about it. And they're like, name one of his songs, and he can't even name one of his songs, which would be, if I was a contestant on American Idol, that would 100% be me.
This episode has actually been renamed on the spot to Lying to Lionel.
All right. Well, anyway, like I said, Nick was kind of presented not as a contestant. He was kind of presented because it kind of leads into the next auditioner. Like George Lucas said, it's like poetry. It rhymes. So Nick, I mean, I don't really know what to really make of. I'm never a big fan of rappers. I think we've only in the past ever had one who's kind of made it a little far, and that would sort of be Journey. Am I correct, Eric? Or have we had any other a singer who kind of was a rapper? So the only name I was thinking of was Journey.
Oh, Journey. Journey wasn't really a rapper at all.
For one song.
One song once, yeah. X Factor's had a couple rappers, but not at all.
But did you enjoy Nick's rap?
Nope. But Lying to Lionel leads to laughter.
Yep. I gave his performance a C-. This was kind of just, it was nothing special. You know, like the whole point of it was kind of to lead into the next contestant who we will talk about next. It is Tiffany LeMay. And before we begin, I just want to say this might be me like reaching a little bit, but correct me if I'm wrong, Eric. Her name is spelled Tiffane, right? Am I correct?
That's how MJ had it.
So where does the I come from? Where are we getting Tiffany? Like it should be just Tiff Ann. Like where's the E?
On knee. But
there's no like. I don't
You're
know.
right. It should be Tiff Ann, but it's not. So
I don't know. That was just me griping. But her entire performance was built up. The previous one with Nick. She comes in. She talks about how she loves Lionel Richie. It's kind of the redemption story for that. Whatever that was with Lionel Richie. She says she grew up on Motown music and Lionel Richie music. And she performs the best part by her and Daniel Caesar. What did you think about Tiffany or Tiffany?
Nice voice, likable enough, fodder.
Ditto. I'm going to agree. But the thing is, she performs the song. The artist who's the name of the artist of her song that she sings is her. Are you familiar with this artist, Eric?
Nope. Do you remember there was a person on Idol named She? And her sister was named Her?
I'm trying to think of the routine, like who's on first? It's what's on second. She's on first.
Her's on second.
Her's on second.
Oh my God. I remember this. I do remember this actually. Yeah. There was a Chris named She and her sister's name was Her. I remember this.
No, the sister's name was Poe, I think, and she quit in Hollywood Week.
Maybe
her name was like the Poe Process on Twitter or something. I remember her. I think
I vaguely remember this. Let's move on because I don't remember it well enough.
All right. Well, let's keep it going to our final contestant of the night. It's bringing us to the end. Oh, by the way, Tiffany, I gave her a B.
Meh.
It is Nick Townsend. He is 25 years old. He performs Let It Go by James Bay. He has this very tragic backstory talking about his siblings who took their own lives. It's a very, very gut-wrenching story, and they spend a lot of time kind of telling this. It's a really just a terrible, terrible situation. But he comes out onto the stage, onto the platform or whatever it is. I keep saying the stage, and he says he's performing. He's here for his siblings, and he performs "Let It Go" by James Bay. Eric, what did you think about Nick, his performance, and his whole story as a whole?
The mother of all stories. I feel awful for him. Very important and good for Idol for showing the hotline information afterwards. Very important that they did that. Judging it on talent, nice voice, not blown away by it.
I wrote solid, but not the best, Eric. I don't really know what to make of Nick. I think he's good. He's got a terrible story, but I don't know where he's going to fit into this competition in the grand scheme of things. I think once the season kind of progresses and it starts to rely more heavily on just his performances, I think he's going to struggle. I think Lacey's going to have an edge on him. I think I don't know if he maybe will have the edge on Walker, but I think he's going to struggle, I think, in the grand scheme of things. I like his voice. I think he's a solid singer. He, by the way, also was a contestant on The Voice.
Twice, apparently.
Twice?
He
was on it twice?
He wasn't actually... I didn't actually show up on the show twice, but he auditioned twice.
Oh, well.
There's that.
I don't really know what to make of Nick. I think he's, like I said, he's good, but I think he's going to struggle moving forward. I think he might get a little bit eaten up maybe in Hollywood Week, but that's just kind of my opinion. Otherwise, any final thoughts on Nick?
Nope.
All right. Well, I gave him a B+. I think it was good. It had a lot of emotion in his performance, but I think he's going to be in trouble.
Agreed.
Moving forward. So that is actually our contestants from the premiere. There is one last contestant if Eric wants to touch on.
We'll save it for our next episode.
I guess we will save it for the next episode. It was a sneak peek contestant, but the show is actually on tomorrow. So we are going to be having a recap of that. We are going to recap the second episode on Saturday night. We are going to be back, Eric and I. We're going to do a recap then. Then on Tuesday, we are going to be live again with Skylar Dixon for that episode. But that is all what's coming up. But otherwise, Eric, final thoughts on the episode as a whole? What did you think?
I'd give it a B.
I'd give it a B+. I enjoyed it. I'm still very much looking forward to the season. I think there's some good contestants still to come. American Idol's been very weird with its audition process. It's kind of been like letting out, like sharing them ahead of time, which
I like,
but it never did before.
Yep.
There's actually,
I guess because America's Got Talent's been doing so well with it, they'll do it too.
There's one contestant coming up, I think next episode, who when I saw her name, I distinctly like a little brainwave in the back of my head like flickered, and I remembered this contestant from season 10, which is the coolest, the best thing ever, because season 10, 11, and 12 kind of are the ones where I could basically remember like all of the contestants who auditioned in Hollywood Week. And whenever I see one of their names kind of pop up on the show, I get really excited. So this contestant wasn't the best on that season, but it's the member berries. Like I've taken a member berry, and now I'm down that trip of remembering the contestants. So yeah, there's some exciting contestants coming up next episode, and I'm excited, Eric.
Me too.
All right. So, any final thoughts on the judges, the episode as a whole before we kind of wrap this up?
Not really. I mean, no real final thoughts.
All right. Well, then, my name is Adam Samuel. You can find me on Twitter at Adam Soapbox. I run my two websites, adamsoapbox.com, adamcvblog.com. Just posted a new short story on my adamsoapbox.com. It is a part 2. It is the second one on the blog list. If you go to the second one on it, you will find it. It's just the part 2. It's the next chapter. It's pretty good. I really enjoyed writing it. I hope maybe you guys will enjoy reading it. If you do, and you do read it, let me know. I always appreciate feedback. Where can we find you, Eric?
EricAscher.com, Eric_Ascher on Twitter, Eric Ascher01 on YouTube, and yeah, find me there, follow me there. I posted my notes as usual shortly after this podcast. So,
all right. Well, otherwise, I guess that's it, Eric. This was a fun discussion. I'm looking forward to the season. A lot of good stuff coming up. And otherwise, I guess we'll catch you all. To our viewers who are watching, thank you so much for checking us out. Like I said, we will be on iTunes. You can check us out there. And until next time, then, right, Eric?
No dogs or moms were harmed in the making of this episode.
Peace out, guys.